The devil is a woman. It's funny how I can remember every single person who's ever been kind to me. When I look back now, I see so much, but I guess that's the way it is for most people. I never knew my age in those days when we first went to Hollywood. That was because Mother constantly changed it, so I never had a chance to celebrate my birthday. To her friends and fans, I was a baby. To others, I was a young girl of 9 or maybe 8. All I knew was that I had the most beautiful mother in the world, and that I was ugly. My face was covered with pimples. Mother blamed the cream pastries I ate. It was one of the things I most loved about America, the food. For breakfast, the maid would bring me a stack of pancakes with maple syrup and whipped butter. There were strips of salty bacon on the side, American waffles with cream and blueberries, glorioski. Mother glared at me, sipping water mixed with Epsom salts. This was how she stayed pencil thin. "Sweetheart, hurry. The car is here. That big girl's blouse will be weeping into his coffee if I'm even 5 minutes late." Her co-star was English, Peter somebody. On the whole, she disliked Englishmen. Thick white ankles, fingers like uncooked sausages. She was obsessed by the beauty of her own slender ankles. "Aristocrats have thin ankles. Only peasants have thick ones." She looked at my fat ankles accusingly as she said this. I felt sorrow for my mother because she had given birth to such a plain child. I looked exactly like my father, but what was handsome in a man was plain in a female. In the mirrored dining table, where we were eating a hurried breakfast, I could see my reflection. High forehead, large flat nose, and deep-set eyes. My bushy eyebrows made me look perpetually cross. My hair was fine and a pale shade of ginger. I had blotchy brown freckles that I tried to scrub off with lemon juice. It never worked. But I had a lovely mouth with a cupid's bow. It was the only feature that I had inherited from my mother. I decided then that it might be best to avoid mirrors. As usual, it was an early morning call. Mother was expected to be in makeup at 5 a.m. Her car and driver were already outside the house. A hot Santa Ana wind had been blowing that week, and the Hollywood hills were sharp-edged and the color of elephant skin. The morning air was cold, however, and I wrapped a warm rug around Mother's legs. On the way to the studio, she talked non-stop. "It's fine for stage actors. They're the fortunate ones. They don't have to be acting a love scene at 9 a.m. after being in makeup since 6 a.m. Any countries that can make a dog a film star is not to be taken seriously. Harlow was at the dinner. That shows you the level of intelligence there last night. Abominable country, America." Mother was always edgy during pre-production. I listened and nodded and smiled and tried not to get carsick. I longed for the studio and the hum of the carpenter's saw. Only then would I know I was home. She continued to complain that no drawings had been sent to her, and Nellie, her hairdresser, had not seen a single wig sketch. Von Goldberg, she knew, was still making adjustments to the script. What was everyone doing at Paramount? Hiding W.C. Fields' gin bottles? We drew up at the Bronson Gate. In those days, before the big earthquake, there was an elaborate stone belfry framing the famous archway. I nodded to the frieze of Shakespeare, who seemed to be presiding over the studio lot. "Good morning, Miss Madou. Good morning, Miss Carter. Harry, take me straight to wardrobe. I need to speak to Travis." "Yes, Miss Madou." That was the day I became my mother's dresser. Like most little girls, I thought my mother was